The stabs at the family, that was expected. But I think what surprised a lot of people the most is Harry's decision to seemingly brag about his Taliban kill count. I mean, current and former soldiers have labelled him astute and say he's actually gone against military protocol. That's not good.
Yes, no self-respecting soldier would ever do something so, quite frankly, callous and shameless. I made a joke that he didn't actually kill any soldiers. They happened to have died laughing after finding out how much William beat him. But I don't think that went down very well for someone like Prince Harry, who's clearly quite proud of his army or military exploits, should we say.
OK, well, it's been suggested that those comments, in fact, could make him now a terrorist target and create a security nightmare. I mean, I don't get why Harry would actually risk putting his family, that is his nuclear family, Meghan and the kids, in danger.
Yeah, he clearly, he's clearly not the most mature person or very bright individual. But it really just goes to show kind of how far he would go to try and expose what he thinks is necessary details for us to know about his family, but also kind of not really exercising any sense of judgment to the repercussions of this, like you just said, of the security issue with his family now making them a target. Nobody in their right mind would possibly do this, regardless of the amount of money that was offered them, especially someone like Prince Harry, who objectively doesn't need that kind of money. I don't think people understand, his late mother, Princess Diana, left him a very generous trust fund to the tune of an estimated £30 million. He's been paid $100 million for the Netflix documentary. I'm sure he's been getting a nice amount of money here and there from events he's been doing. He really doesn't need the money. So it really does beg the question as to why he's so insistent on doing this in such a tacky and classless manner. I know, one of his sort of RAF comrades has also been out in the media saying, Harry, keep your mouth shut. This is going to get worse. But he seems to be, just going in head first. He has more interviews coming out to promote his book. So it really is just quite a tacky affair.
Well, while you and Britain have been sleeping, we've been analysing it here in Australia. We're 10 hours ahead of you. So I guess the British media this morning will be going hot to trot. But I mean, what are members of the public saying today?
Well, unfortunately, members of the public are quite preoccupied with, daily life, like the rail strikes that are effectively crippling Britain at the moment, the cost of living crisis, the rising energy bills. I know it might come as a shock to the Sussexes, but people actually have real problems and are not that preoccupied with the hardships of a literal prince and princess who are living a life of utter luxury. But obviously, the general mood in the public and the general feeling is that it's a very tacky and classless affair. This is clearly a very private family issue. Most people, regardless of whether you're Team Harry or Team the royal family, recognize that it's very classless to expose intimate family details and problems like this. With regard to the sort of, for example, the fight that he had with William, most people have gotten into fight with their siblings. It's not something that they would write in a book as a tell-all sort of memoir, but it's just it's very against British culture, especially the stiff upper lip that we so pride ourselves on, and most people just find it really tacky, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's not over yet. I mean, we've been given another teaser to one of the many television interviews that Harry is going to be giving next week, and this one is from Good Morning America. Have a listen.
There's a quote in this book where you refer to your brother as your beloved brother and arch nemesis. Strong words. What did you mean by that?
There has always been this competition between us, weirdly. I think it really plays into, or is played by, the heir spare.
So he's doing the full media round, 60 Minutes, ITV, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I mean, is there anything left for him to actually say?
Well, that's the danger, because effectively when all of this dries up, when he's said everything that he can say, and when he's milked his relationship with the royal family as much as he possibly can, what else is left for him and Meghan? They've lost all credibility as, goodwill actors in the world. But it does make me sad as well, because it's clear that, a family relationship has disintegrated to the point where a brother is effectively turning on his own brother and his family. And he looks like a troubled man. Nobody's going to look at what Prince Harry is doing right now and say this is a man who's at peace, who is mature, who is, you know, comfortable in his own skin. He just looks like a child, a petulant child, throwing his toys out of the pram, and it's really unsightly to see, especially for a man who's nearly 40 years old, a father of 2 and married. It's very unsavory, not to mention completely emasculating.
And I guess, Esther, with 16 weeks to go to the coronation, all of the troubles and the rail strikes and all these things that are happening, Britain will be looking for something joyous. I guess the kindest thing I can say is at least Harry's getting the garbage out now. But I'm quite annoyed with him, to be honest. I think for all of what you've said. Esther, thank you so much for your time today and wish you well for the weekend.